Gentlemen, we've got a fine show for you tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the top of the autocue there. You aren't going to believe.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Turn around to your right. I don't want to go into the spot, but I
What is up, guys and girls? How the bloomin' devil are you? Is it Friday already? It sure is. You're here, it's Friday night, and that means one thing. It's Friday Night Live with me, the Grom, and you wonderful viewers from around the world. And yes, I can believe it, another week is in the pocket. It's done. Another week down in 2024. And it seriously has just been one of those weeks. It's not been super high, it's not been super low, but there sure has been a lot going on. And it's been a few days and a bit of time that just felt like it wasn't passing. However, to be sat here in front of you lovely people now, it's like, wow, it's Friday again. Let's do it. Let's get away from the weekly grind, the madness that is that rat race, and let's get ready for the weekend. It is now or never, guys and girls. The weekend is upon us. For some of you, it is really knocking on the door, and probably for a few of you, it is just a little bit of a way off. But nevertheless, it's on the horizon. So I hope the week has been good to you all. I hope you're in good spirits. Most importantly, I hope you're, I feel like a million miles away from the camera. Go full Casey Neistat. Let's get in there. That's better. I apologise, the hair and makeup crew. I did get a shave, but my hair, I look like, yeah, it's doing something. It's here. It turned up. However, the makeup crew didn't. So let's get a little beverage poured, because the most important part of the night is sitting down, tuning out, and tuning in. So whether it's a hot one, a cold one, whatever is your favourite tipple, I hope you're in a comfortable position. I'm ready for a little show. Oh, that's roasty toasty, baby. So, as always, I will say this. I will do my very best. I have got the comments and the live chat exploded to a rather large size tonight. And I can already see some familiar faces, so it's awesome to have you here. I will do my very best to keep an eye on the live chat. And there is like a Q&A thing at the top that I'm giving a trial to see what happens with that. So if you want to fire me questions, or if you just want to get in on the live chat, feel free. If you're watching this after the fact, I do believe if you click on the comments below the video, I think you can swipe left depending on what device you are watching it on, and you will be able to follow the live feed. But whether you're watching now or whether you're watching whenever it is you get a chance to tune in, I appreciate you taking the time out of your lives to watch a little bit of the Friday Night Live. So thank you for that. Dan, I feel for you, brother. You're still stuck at work. And this is what I mean. Some people, they're still stuck in the rat race and in the daily grind. But it is awesome to have the legendary Cockney Buddha already in the live chats. Tom, Pippa, Rich Slade, Bob Marsh, and Dave Usan have already fired up and got the little community rocking and rolling. So appreciate you guys and girls being here. Thank you. And thank you for making the little live chat the community that it is. There's been a few, let's just say, sneaky people that have realised that there's been a few Friday Night Live after parties. I'll tell you now because the people watching early, I'll let you in on this. A few of you may know. But basically, after the end credits, excuse me, after the end credits, I've turned off the microphone, but I've hung around in the live chats. And there has been a few people that have cottoned onto it, and it's turned into a little Friday Night Live after party. So, hey, again, if you can get in on the live chats and you can see that on whatever device you're viewing on, maybe hang around at the end of the show, see what happens. But that was just a little insider tip. Getting back to the schedule, this evening's programming. Let's just say this past week for the Grom, he's been doing some adulting. He's been getting all fully grown up and trying to be mature, which is a word that I never thought I'd use in a sentence. But hey, check it out. If you have been watching the vlogs, then last weekend you would have seen I went out on a stag do. Yes, I was out on the town, and I wasn't just out, I was out, like fully out. Came home in the early hours of the morning, and it was an awesome evening. It was fantastic to be invited. And I tell you one thing, talk about feel old. That's all I'm going to say, guys and girls, on that subject. But the highlight of it was, one, getting to see a few faces that I haven't seen for possibly 20 years, which is kind of crazy, bearing in mind that we still live in the same town and it isn't exactly a big one at that. However, you know, life takes you in different directions, and so to descend upon one location for one individual, it was kind of a nice vibe, and it was kind of crazy to be out so late and be out on the town. And who would have thought it, ladies and gentlemen, that the Grom got denied to go into a nightclub due to the fact that he was wearing board shorts. There's a whole story behind that, and maybe one day I'll endeavour to tell you all. But hey, for now, it was an awesome night, and yeah, it was really bizarre. One of the, should we say, places we visited, I was hoping to bring the DJ to the dark side. He was very happy to play a couple of songs that I'd recommended. However, they didn't seem to go down with the crowd, which again just goes to show my age and my mindset. However, shortly after, they played Sweet Caroline, and a lot of people were in the vibe. And I think at one point they played the Cha Cha Slide, and it was like a horrible wedding soundtrack. But nevertheless, there was a good vibe. A few times I found myself looking upon the dance floor, and it looked like something out of a TikTok video, which was rather remarkable because there was a few songs that were played that I haven't got a clue what they are. Yes, I'm old. I am sorry. I apologise to the youth that may be watching this. But there was like a whole little TikTok vibe going down, which was rather incredible and a little bit funny. The one thing that I didn't cover in the vlog, which was the highlight of my evening, was a group of maybe 10 grown and, let's just say, not young adults, most definitely very mature adults, playing keepy uppy with a balloon. Yes, it was a monumental moment and you had to be there. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself that I didn't get more video of it. But what a monumental moment when, let's just say, fully grown adults are in a so-called bar, or maybe I wouldn't call it a nightclub, but they are playing keepy up with a balloon. Yes, that was the level and the extent of the madness of the stag do, and I tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Anyway, getting back to the schedule. Yes, it's Friday night. You know you love it. You know you wait for it. And I kind of feel like for some people, it's the highlight of the show. It's worrying, but I kind of love it. So, let's do it. Let's see if we can be fully pro. Wrap it up for the hour mark. I've been trying forever. One of these days we'll do it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday Night Live news, and I am going to fulfill you with all of the amazing information and things that make this week special. So I've got my notes in the completely wrong order. Blooming good start. But hey, let's see if we can rock and roll, because it wouldn't be right if it ain't a little bit rough around the edges. So, who blooming knew it? If you are familiar with this contraption up here called a hobby horse, some may know it as other things, but nevertheless, much like Marmite, hobby horses divides the general public. It is something you either embrace with passion or simply cannot comprehend. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is very popular in Finland and most recently spreading into other parts of the world. It is a sport which involves riding a wooden stick with one end decorated to look like a pony's head. Riders compete by trotting, galloping and cantering around a ring, even leaping over jumps as high as 3 feet, all while gripping the reins of a plush horse. For better or for worse, this phenomenon has taken over TikTok, and while it has helped with growing its reaches, participants complain of facing a torrent of abuse. If you haven't seen the videos doing the rounds on this, these individuals are going full ham. Let's just say, if this is possible, I believe anything is possible. And I want to see, if you remember these, back in the day, you used to get beds that looked like racing cars. I want to see Formula One racing, but in those beds. Because if this is possible, anything's possible. So, yet again, guys and girls, the Friday Night Live News managed to let you down on some amazing information that we should have supplied to you last week, so you could have known about it for this week. With all of the excitement going on in the world, who blooming knew that July the 2nd marked World UFO Day? Yes, guys and girls. For those who didn't celebrate World UFO Day, consider this. A former US Air Force intelligence officer told Congress last summer about the government program that retrieves and reverse engineers unidentified flying objects. The Mexican Congress held an unprecedented session in September, during which supposed mummies were presented as non-human beings that are not part of our terrestrial evolution. And NASA now have a director of research for unidentified flying objects, or what it calls unidentified anomalous phenomena. As you would have known if you're a follower of the Friday Night Live, we love a good UFO story here. And let's just say, I have heard on the grapevine that UFO sightings seem to have been creeping in the last little while. There seems to be like a little hotbed of activity happening, and obviously stuff is coming out everywhere. I didn't even realise that there was like a World UFO Day, but there is. Never mind that the Pentagon has already denied the former intelligence officer's claims that Mexican researchers said that the mummies were made no sense, and that NASA's study found no evidence of extraterrestrials. But I know that the Pentagon did have to do a huge investigation into UFOs, so watch this space, and if we have any more information on it, we'll bring it to you. So, for you lovely guys and girls across the other side of the pond, there was big celebrations yesterday for the 4th of July, and belated 4th of July celebrations to you all. I hope you had a fantastic time, and nobody was hurt, and there wasn't too much alcohol consumed or hot dogs as such like. Anyway, just thought I'd give you a little breakdown for the people that may be watching this away from the United States that are unfamiliar with these celebrations. So, Independence Day, known as Coatical, can't even pronounce that, as the 4th of July, is a federal holiday in the United States which commemorates the ratification of the Declaration of Independence by the Second Congressional Congress on July 4th, 1776, establishing the United States of America. The founding father delegates of the Second Continental Congress Declaration and the 13 colonies were no longer subject or subordinate to the monarch of Britain, King George III, I'll have you know, and were now united, free and independent states. The Congress voted to approve independence by passing the Lee Resolution on July 2nd and adopted the Declaration of Independence 2 days later on July 4th. And that was an Andrea just drifting by. Good evening. Obviously, if you're not familiar with that Independence Day, you might be familiar with this Independence Day where Will Smith saved the world. But if you're a really beady-eyed viewer of this movie, you might have even seen somebody that you might recognise. Coming back to the UK, the votes have been in, they've been counted, and let's just say the Labour Party kind of run away with it. I think it was like 412 seats they've accrued. Not too sure. Again, not massive on politics, but I suppose it would be rude if we didn't say Congratulations, Mr. Keir Starmer. Please, God, help us. But that was it, guys and girls. It was Friday night, and that was the Friday Night Live news. Did we wrap it up for the hour? Oh, minute past. Never mind. Well, we didn't quite hit the hour mark, but we did blooming well. And I tell you what, I still don't know what's going on with my hair. Talk about throwing me off having a young, beautiful lady burst into the room halfway through, but has that done it any better? Something like that. Who cares about looks? Anyway, so happy 4th of July to you all. I hope you had fantastic celebrations. I see a lot of things popping off in the comments. And so I kind of hope that was all in order of it being awesome. And who knew that the Grom starred in Independence Day, eh? But staying with some news, I noticed this evening while faffing around getting the live sorted that we're cruising on 1.9 thousand videos. And without actually counting them all individually, I don't know when the magic 2,000 mark is going to be broken. So you'll have to keep an eye on that. And I know there's some beady-eyed viewers that are like hardcore that will notice when that number changes to 2,000, probably before I do. So please, feel free to reach out, give me a little tap on the shoulder and say, hey, Grom, you've just hit 2,000 videos. I'd appreciate that one because we might make a little thing of it. But what else have you seen in the news? And let's just say, if I can fire this up, because I try to do it quite regularly and then just completely forget about it. Please, feel free. There is a few segments that we do on this show that I want viewers' feedback or input because it just makes for a more community kind of driven show, and that's what we want here. We want you guys involved just as much as this Fruit Loop at the end of this camera. You guys and girls, if you've got stories, wacky news reports, things that you want on the news, or if there's articles like the Shine the Light clip, which we might have later on in the show, I'd appreciate it. Give me a shout, hit me up on the email on the screen. All of the details are in the description below. And if there's things that you want to get at me, especially sponsors, or you want to be an unofficial, official sponsor of a Friday Night Live show, contact me on the email address below and I promise I will give you a reply and you could very well see something you've sent into us on the Friday Night Live show. So how awesome would that be? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so we're going to try to bring back a little something. I've already mentioned it. Shine a light. And I've got one lined up this week. But before then, we're going to try to be super technical. We're going to have a little look at the live chats because I see it popping up and I've seen a few individuals drop in, which is awesome, as there has been the arrival of the Everyday Surfer. Good evening, sir. How are you? And Ilwo Official. Good evening to you, sir. And it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm pretty much sure that there's a few others that might well have dropped in because I see the comments exploding throughout the news. No, I think I've got you all covered, which is good. And I'm kind of hoping that Dan's got off from work now as well. Yeah, we done well. We nearly hit the hour mark with the news. It got to be a little bit rough around the edges. But last week's show, there was a couple of little mistakes there. So keep your fingers crossed. We're going to do the little segment that I like to call Channel of the Week. And let's see if we could be like fully pro and actually get it right. But if it's a bit rough around the edges, it don't matter. Makes for more fun, something like that. Right? Channel of the Week.
Nice.
So, I'm hoping you can see me in a stupid little box in the corner of the screen. If not, I just hope you can hear me. Otherwise, you're looking at a blank white screen for now. Anyway, as you may well know, I tried to do a little segment called Channel of the Week. And in which case I try to bring you YouTube channels that have either brought me information that's changed my life, made me lose myself in the daily grind and just get through another work day, or somebody out there doing something completely different, changing the game up and maybe even just bringing a new influence to the platform that is YouTube. Now, I've mentioned it in the past. I don't think I've covered it for a Channel of the Week. I hope not. If not, we're doubling down. So, Ombi Surf, ladies and gentlemen. Ombi Surf channel on YouTube is pretty epic. It's made a difference to me. Now, I can imagine there's some quite high level intermediate and beginner surfers that probably tune into the show. And I would highly recommend, regardless of what level you're on, I'd check this channel out, because you might find something that just takes you that step up. So, founded by Clayton, and I want to say nine number. I don't know if I've pronounced that right. Nine number. Anyway, he's the founder of Ombi Surf Coaching, which is also linked with this channel. He's got like YouTube channel, there's a website, he is an online coach, but I would highly recommend this channel just due to the fact that the mindset of these videos are amazing. The kind of insight and the analysis is incredible, and I've seen a lot of like trainee tip related surf channels out there. There's a few amazing channels. However, this guy has a certain way of breaking it down, which is just next level. It covers all skill levels. I would highly recommend that you check the channel out, and I'll make sure that I put a link to this channel in the description below. There are absolute bucket loads of videos. They also do lives. I don't know if they've done any in recent time. However, I noticed a few of their clips because I do also follow them on Instagram, and there's just a couple of little things. The Oreo explanation for basically getting your pop-up or feeling the wave is epic, and I think that one's going to stick in my mind for a long time to come. And this just goes into a lot of basic, intermediate, and then gets up into those sort of like, I'm going to claim semi-pro level, where there is a lot of tips for shortboarders, for just all of the advanced stuff. And especially they do a few where they're going into and break down surf wave pools, whatever you want to call them. But I would highly recommend this channel, and if you've not seen it, go and check it. It's in the description below. That was this week's channel of the week. Did it work? Was it a bit crisp? Was I in the bottom corner, or was I just a Fruit Loop that had disappeared off the screen? Let me know in the live chats. And yeah, without banging on about it, Ombi Surf. So yeah, even if you're not a surfer, you want to have a light look into some stuff that covers some quite heavy thoughts when it comes to like consciousness as well. It's on a whole nother level. So I am really taken by that channel, and I quite enjoy it. So I did promise you, lovely guys and girls, that we would be giving you an update on the Grom Tour USA 2024. However, I have been adulting. I have made a few solid steps closer to getting my done, but I haven't quite got to the point that I want to be to announce that monumental moment. So you'll have to bear with me, but there will be an update, and I promise you there will be an update in next Friday's Friday Night Live. So stay tuned, because next weekend is going to be an absolute banger anyway, because we are going off to the surf pool. So I want to again just mention that next weekend, so Saturday the 13th and 14th at Bristol Wave Pool in the UK, unfortunately to all you viewers from overseas, there will be a surf weekend, for want of a better way of putting it. And I do know that there are a few people that have already contacted me and said that they will be there that weekend. So I'm hoping you might get to see some people that do tend to pop in on the live chats, and also they're solid supporters of the vlog. So it could be interesting to see some faces that, again, I am yet to meet myself. But you know the wonders of social media. You can kind of build some pretty awesome relationships with people that you've never physically met. But that weekend could be a great provider of actually finally getting that kind of face-to-face connection. So again, if you are a viewer of the Friday Night Live and you can be in Bristol next weekend, just look for a guy that looks like a complete kook with stupid hair and just scream Grom. So yeah, it would be awesome. Be awesome to see you there if you can make it. Right, so moving on to our next segment, and it's one that I love. I kind of want to elevate this to such a high level. I don't know how to do it. And I just want you guys to push more on to this kind of wavelength of let's put some positivity back out into kind of a radical and crazy world. Let's shine a light on some people, shall we? Or this week, one individual in particular, and I hate to say it, but I'm a little bit biased. But this is Shine a Light. So if you are unfamiliar with this segment, this is the part of the show where we try to take a few moments and just shine the light on an individual, maybe a couple, maybe a team, maybe a whole entire crew. Maybe it's somebody that's changed your life in a dramatic way. Maybe it's just an individual that you bumped into, or that just made one day, one moment, or 1 second a little bit easier to bear when you were in dark times. It could be extremes, it could be tiny little things that just changed up the course of a day, week, year, or life. Whatever it may be, please contact us, let us know, and let us shine a light on somebody in your life. Regardless, you might not even know their name, but if they made a bit of a difference or they left a positive impact on you, we'd love to hear about it. So this week's Shine a Light goes to a gentleman by the name of Mark, and he was the stag of last week's stag do. He is an older brother of possibly one of my longest running friends since moving to Aylesbury, and Mark is an absolute remarkable individual. I know his soon-to-be wife and himself are avid viewers of the vlog, and I appreciate the hell out of that. But to go one step further and say how long I have known this individual for is remarkable. But most of all, I don't think he would mind in me saying that the individual we're discussing this evening is actually partially deaf, I believe would be the correct terminology. However, it's never stopped him. This is possibly one of the most remarkable individuals that I know, because this individual in his time has been a DJ, which kind of just goes to show that you can't let anything stop you if you want to do it. But most importantly, he has been kind of a very valuable member within a very small community. He's been very open and welcoming to me throughout the years. He's never forgotten about me, and for the guy to only see me once in a blue moon, to message me and say, I want you to come on my stag do, and I'd love you to be come and join us on our wedding ceremony, I was absolutely honoured and just blown away, because as an individual, I know these days it's very easy to lose links with people. However, this guy has just always managed to make things happen. Whether it's running as many jobs as this guy does, he's worked in all sorts of places and worked in some places for a remarkable amount of time. And I only found out this weekend just gone that he actually currently works at a place that I went to for an interview many moons ago. And it kind of just goes to show again, a bit like I said earlier in the show, how you can lose track of people in such a small town. Yet somebody like that, we could have crossed so many paths away from just generally knowing each other. But most of all, Mark, I just want to say, dude, I appreciate the hell out of you for inviting me on the weekend. Thank you so much for just keeping me in your thoughts. I am more than honoured to be invited to come to the wedding. And dude, I just wish you all the best. I hope that you and your soon-to-be wife have an amazing future with full of joy, happiness, love and laughter. And dude, this week, I hope you see the Friday Night Live show, because there's just not enough time in this show to just say, dude, I appreciate you, man. And that goes for you and your entire family. You've always been more than welcoming to me, and I just appreciate that. Appreciate that so much. It's unreal. But yes, Mark, you are this week's Shine a Light, and dude, keep on doing what you're doing, and just keep showing me that there is just nothing in this life that you can't do if you want to get after something. So Friday night salute to you, sir, and I'm looking forward to hooking up with you on your wedding and just chilling again, because it was last weekend was an honor, dude, and yeah, it was just such a good vibe. Stay awesome, dude. That's what I'm saying. So, yes, shine a light. I'm going to pop the email up there and try to be fully pro, because I really want more and more people to get involved in that, because I want to hear from more stories around the globe. And you don't need to have surnames. You don't even need to know their first names. But if there's been an incident, a moment, a changing point, whatever it is, something that has just left a deep impact, or just changed maybe the course of your life. I was thinking earlier of a few individuals that over the years, if it hadn't been for those people being deeply into their said interest, I wouldn't have found a path into certain parts of my life. So again, if it's things like that, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's a co-worker, maybe it's just someone within your community that you don't even know the guy or girl's name, but you see them and you want them to know, then hey man, let's just put it out there as a kind of subconscious, conscious vibe, and just try to shine a little bit of light into the world, because some days it can feel like it's a dark place, and hey, you just never know who that light might reach and what it might change for those lovely people. So let's have a little moment, because I've noticed the live chat's exploding, and again, I always hate not being able to keep an eye on it. I definitely need like crew over here, man. I need at least one person to be able to watch the live chats, because unless I sit here like this, I ain't never gonna watch it. It is going off. It's lovely to see Rick. Dude, great to have you here this evening, man. And I hope, I see your dinner, your cooking in your new premises. So, dude, I hope the week and the positivity is coming your way. And also, Matt's back in the chat. So, dude, absolute massive Friday night shout out to you, because it's always good to see. It's always good to see familiar names and faces. So I hope everybody in there is having an awesome chat. It bloody well looks like it. And I'd be like just staring at a blank screen with a bit of a Grom concentration face on, which would be no good and not very entertaining for any of you. But yeah, shout out Pippa for saying whoop whoop Mark. Yeah, dude. And I'm just going to have to clip it and send it to him. I know he follows the vlog quite religiously, because he was telling me all about it at the weekend, which I was just fired up over. That was awesome. And so I hope he catches the Friday Night Live. If not, I'll just have to make a point of showing him, won't I now? So I just want to take another moment as well, actually, just because I'm going to embarrass the guy, because I love doing it. And that was to just give a little shout out to the legendary Dan Koff. Yes, we've mentioned him last week because he was that guy, the guy that won the very first fully nuking like Patreon giveaway. But super stoked for you on that, dude. And yeah, fair play to you. And I really do hope that I win the next one. That would help me out massively. So anybody that wants to, like, you know, put some bribes in there and try to sway that vote would be monumental. However, it was just one of those things that earlier this evening, he popped a message my way saying, have you heard the latest podcast? And if you're not familiar with the legendary Ben Gravy, yes, it is that guy again. Put out a podcast, I believe today, on his Patreon, and I hadn't seen it. And Dan sent me a clip, which was my audio question that I'd sent in that they'd read out and answered. And as minuscule as that may seem to so many listeners, viewers, it was one of those moments where it wasn't the answer to the question. It was more so their reactions for it being a question from me. And I kind of want to just mention that off the back of the shine a light, because I know we've shined the light on Dan in the past, but that was just, again, one of those moments where I cannot stress to you how certain individuals saying certain things that then are passed your way via other individuals can make such a huge impact on just a vibe for the day. So you just never know, guys and girls, whatever it is you might do. I see a meme or a remark today in relation to saying, make sure that you message people if they happen to cross your mind. And that's something I've been lacking in the past 2 weeks. I did speak to a friend of mine today and say I'm absolutely overly apologetic in regards to how little I've been messaging backwards and forwards lately, because I have secretly trying to be a little bit more aware of how much time I spend on my phone. Mostly because I am a self-confessed doom scroller. I cannot help it. When I get into those reels or those video clips on Instagram, it's done for. And kind of just goes to show the difference between how time passes by when you're having fun, so but how it can slow down while you're in the grind. And I tell you one thing, you get on the phone and time just seems to be ate up. The concept of time goes out the window. So I wanted to try to claw things back. And obviously I put out the Q&A, like the poll last week in relation to how do people feel after they've been on social media platforms. And I run that poll on my Instagram and also on my Twitter. And it was kind of funny, if my memory serves me correct. Inspired was one answer. Angry was another. The same as before I'd come on the platform, and depends on what platform. Now, it was quite evenly distributed between felt the same and depends what platform. That was like 30% for both of those. And then there was a small percentage split between angry and inspired. However, when I was on Twitter, there was nobody on there that replied angry. So yeah, man, if you want a happy place to go to Twitter. I wouldn't recommend anybody, but hey, timing is illusion, most definitely, my friend. And it's kind of weird how just the consciousness or awareness of it can slow it down to an unbelievable tempo. However, you forget about that sucker and it's gone. So that kind of leads me into the end of the show, because the time has gone. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you're all in good places, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and all of the other possibilities that could fall on that. I hope to see you again next week. But between now and then, be awesome. As always, stay focused, stay positive. Have a fantastic weekend. And don't forget to share. Don't forget to share, like, tell a friend, just the local guy that hangs around down the street, tell him, hey, 10:45 p.m. GMT, you know where to be, YouTube. Get on the Grom's channel, check out our little Friday night live, because I cannot tell you guys and girls just how easy it is to spread the word, but I could scream it from the rooftops, man. And sometimes if you're blowing your own trumpet, it's just not as effective if other people are blowing it for you. So I would be most humbled and appreciative if you all blow my trumpet. I'll leave you with that thought. So until next week, as always, be cool, be awesome, drink some coffee. Don't let the grind get you down. Keep on keeping on. And until then, just stay awesome, man. Get out there and get after it.